What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always, spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about: football, basketball, and boxing. Big talk in basketball right now, women's basketball that is Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Here we go again. The WNBA is back, and these two ladies are at the center of it all. For better or for worse, for the good and the bad. And that's okay. They have their rivalry going on, which some people will say it's not a rivalry. It's a little bit of a rivalry. I know they play different positions, but there's some competitive juices that flow when these two ladies play each other. And that's okay too. Now, all the drama has popped up over Robert Griffin III's comments about Angel Reese and then Ryan Clark's response. If you haven't seen these things, check it out. Essentially, starting with Robert Griffin III, RG3, he said that he feels, in his opinion, and this wasn't a personal attack, even though some people want to make it. See, the problem that we got right now is the fan bases of these young ladies at times can get a little overzealous with their fandom. Sometimes there's some intense feelings that are given towards both these ladies, and Angel Reese, I think, gets the brunt of it, the majority, without question. But part of that just has to do with the way the situation is unfolded over the last several years of these ladies been in the spotlight. Bottom line, race gets brought into this a lot, and a little too much in my personal opinion. Now, there is a dynamic there, Angel Reese being black and Caitlin Clark being white, but more so than that, between those two young ladies, it's really with the fan bases. And the hate that, or I shouldn't say, hate's a strong word. I'll get to that later. The intense feelings that are portrayed by fans towards Angel Reese, they incite hate. And you got to remember, we are in a society right now where for the last better part of a decade, it's been encouraged to, let your hate out. Let people know how you feel. Say what's on your mind. Regardless of how that may feel, respect has kind of gone out the window for some people, not all. So because of that, I think that's where where sports crosses over with real life at times, and we get these situations with these ladies. But really, it's a basketball thing and nothing more between them two, in my opinion. Now, RG3 said that he thinks Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark because of the way she responded to the foul that Caitlin Clark gave her. Angel Reese went to the ground. It looked like a solid foul, nothing malicious or dangerous, making sure Angel Reese was going to have to go through to the free throw line where she struggles a bit, not giving her an easy layup. No problem. Angel Reese she got a little heated about it. She was upset. I do think that comes from a certain competitiveness between the two of them, where RG3 pointed out the fact she's been hit worse than that and didn't respond with as much passion. Yeah, there is some intensity there. There is something there between those two, and Angel Reese may feel a certain way about Caitlin when they're on the basketball court. I think these two ladies could go out after the game and have dinner with each other. I think they can be social. But when they get on that court, they competitive. And that's okay. Now, hate is a strong word. And because of that, RG3 kind of missed his point or brought attention to himself because of the fact that using the word hate basically can light a match on some gasoline in this situation between society and these two women's competitive nature that they have. And Angel Reese has gotten some hate letters, some death threats, and things like that from what they've said. And, this won't help with that. But to say that she dislikes her, and he used evidence. He was trying to keep it sports, but his words were a little bit tough to some, and people came to Angel Reese's defense, namely Ryan Clark. Now, Ryan, kind of almost like, in my opinion, like he's taken up for his little sister almost. Like he, a fellow black woman, he felt he needed to speak up. Maybe felt a certain way that a guy who's African American like Robert Griffin used some of the words he used and some of the mannerisms he pointed to. Now, I don't think, in my opinion, Robert meant it the way Ryan took it. He just meant, she was animated, so to speak. She was hyped. And so he acted it out a little bit. But I don't think he was trying to make that racial. But that's how Ryan took it. He's got a whole nother opinion of RG3, according to him, based on, as this transpired, he talking about how he never liked the dude, or at least haven't liked him in a while. Worst teammate he ever had, and some more. This was after his initial rebuttal of Robert Griffin III. So maybe there's there's something there between these two. So, it's more than the sport, it's deeper. But between the ladies, to keep it between the ladies, for Ryan Clark to then say, well, Robert can't sympathize with the plight of the black woman, essentially. Those aren't his exact words, but he was saying RG3 can't understand what Angel Reese is going through as a black woman because he doesn't have those conversations in his house because he's married to a white woman. Now that comes off a certain way, just as badly as what some may think Robert Griffin came off with Angel Reese. So both these dudes are wrong, and both of them are right in a sense, because Ryan had some good points about being sensitive to the subject and how you word things because of the hate Angel Reese has been getting. But he didn't have a right to make it. First of all, he has no clue what goes on in that man's house. And to tell a black man he don't know something about black people because he married a white woman, that's a lot of assumptions you're making. Who knows if that's true or not? You got to know something because he's black. And, we get into, I know that might trigger some people, well, just because he's black, maybe he don't know certain things, and based on where he grew up or how he grew up and this, that, and the third. But, we get a little too personal, a little too sensitive with these subjects sometimes. And really, both these guys one was trying to give his opinion on sports, and he feels a certain way about Angel Reese towards Caitlin Clark. And Ryan wanted to defend Angel Reese, is the bottom line. All that being said, I think both these guys took it a little too far. I thought Ryan Clark maybe took it further with his, like, he was intentional in what he said about the man's wife. RG3, you can make an assumption he was intentional, but you also could make an assumption if he really don't have these conversations like Ryan Clark said, then maybe he wasn't sensitive to certain things he said and he was just giving his opinion and didn't realize how it came off. And Ryan could have left it at that and said, maybe, this is why, without bringing in his wife, but maybe you just don't, maybe you're not as sensitive to the subject. Bottom line is, it's okay for these women to be competitive towards each other. Long as, they ain't trying to hurt each other on the court, and, they can be cordial after. You can be competitive on the field of play or the basketball court or whatever, in the ring and boxing, and still be sociable with somebody outside of that arena. It's possible, and the best athletes can turn that switch on and off because it's what they do. It's their job. Let's enjoy these women's job. Let's realize this has escalated mainly because of fan bases that some people have taken it too far. Not everybody who's a fan of Caitlin or Angel Reese, but these two women are great. And yeah, more hate is going to go towards Angel Reese because Caitlin Clark is the more popular player. And I think her style of play is more so the reason why she's popular than her color of her skin. Not saying her color doesn't doesn't factor in with Caitlyn, but her style of play is exciting to watch, and she's good, very good. She's better than Angel Reese, no doubt about it, in my opinion. Not that Angel Reese ain't nice, but Caitlyn's better. But Caitlyn, more importantly, is more exciting. It's kind of like Steph Curry. He's not even as good as LeBron James, but in some senses, he's more popular. You know, LeBron is polarizing because he has almost close to as many people who throw hate his way as those throwing love his way. But Curry, I feel like, in my opinion, not everybody got their haters, but Curry has a least or less of them than, say, a LeBron James or a Kevin Durant, and more on the people love him side. So I think Caitlin Clark fits that mold more than anything because of style of play. And if both these women were black or both these women were white, you'd have similar dynamics. Some things are different because race, you can't ignore race and can't act like we don't see color. That's insensitive too. But the style of play and the competitiveness between these two young ladies, their history as far as athletes, is what fuels the fire more so than anything. And we should just keep it there. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you're looking for. J Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or get at me in the comments. Find me on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok.